This video is to work a few problems in the hands-on equations sheets, lessons 16. I've got also a problem from 17 and maybe 18 that I'm going to work, and these are the ones that tend to give people trouble. So I'm going to work a few of these and explain it as I go along, and we can still go over some of these in class, but if you're struggling with these, and if even your parents are struggling with these, there's a good reason for it, because this is where we're dealing with subtraction and subtracting things that aren't there. Okay, so let's talk about this. The number one thing you have to remember when you are doing these is that the definition of subtraction is add the opposite. Okay, so you're going to actually hear me kind of verbalize that. It really helps you when you are doing these problems. Okay, so I'm going to do number 3 on page 16, which I've had more than one question about. And in fact, every year this one kind of comes up, because what they tell you to do is to start with an X. Okay, actually put this right over here. And it says, then subtract 2 negative x's. I don't have 2 negative x's to subtract. So listen to how I'm saying this. Subtract 2 negative x means add 2 positive x. I'm just simply going to add 2 positive x's. Okay? That's how I do these. It's really the simplest way to do it. I will, though, mention that this is actually the same as if I added 2 zeros. Okay, this is kind of the way hands-on equations does show it. If I need to have 2 negative x's to subtract, I can get them on my balance by adding 2 zeros, and then I can subtract my negative x's, which leaves me with 2 positive x's. But notice, this proves this rule, that if it says, hey, from this point, I want to subtract 2 negative x's and they don't exist, that means add 2 positive x's. Same result. And it's a simpler step, if you can remember to do that. Now I'm just going to add a positive 8, because that's what it says. Now my left hand matches. Now for my right hand, I have 2 negative x's, okay? And then I've got 3 positive x's. All right, okay. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is simply get rid of my 0 here, okay? Do you see here I've got 2 zeros. Those are going to go away. They negate each other. Now, what you may now have gotten stuck on is I can't do this because now I have nothing on that side. And I guess, you know what? I could do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I need something over on the other side. How could I get rid of this 8? Well, just like any other time, even if I had something on the other side, I could add the opposite to negate it, to make it 0. Okay? And voila, 2 x's are equal to negative 8. Therefore, each negative x must be worth negative 4. Okay? It is really easy to get a positive 4 out of it the way this particular problem is structured, and that's really common, and it comes from that very first step, not getting that simplification correct. But hopefully this made sense to you, and I'm actually going to build the original problem back to check it. So here we said that x is equal to negative 4, therefore positive x is negative x is equal to positive 4. Okay, so we're going to kind of check that. We're going to put the original problem back. Original problem said x minus 2 negative x, that's the same as plus 2 positive x, plus a positive 8, okay, with 2 negative x's, plus 3 positive x's. And when you check, you don't have to add and subtract. Zeros for checks just come right off, okay? And so here, let's see if this works. Okay, if x is negative 4, then this would be negative 12, right? Negative 12 plus 8 is negative 4. I do get negative 4 out of this result. And of course, this x here is the same as negative 4. Negative 4 equals negative 4. All right? So that's this one. I'm going to work 2 or 3 other ones. These are kind of tricky, and again, you'll hear me kind of repeating the same logic because it works, okay? And it, like I said, it proves an algebra rule that people, this rule here, that people do tend to struggle with. I'm going to hop down to the previous work questions because there's a couple here that use similar techniques. Let's look at number 8, okay? This one tells me to put up 5x's, okay? And then it says subtract 2 negative x's. I don't have 2 negative x's. So subtract 2 negative x's means add 2 positive x's, right? Okay, so that's how I'm doing this second part. Subtract 2 negative x. Then it says subtract 3 positive x's. So I'm down to just 4, okay? All right, and then on the other side, I've got 3 positive x's, and I've got a positive 7, okay? And some of you at this point could actually see that if this, and this are the same, then these two must be the same, and therefore they must all be 7s, but it's really easy to see this if we just clear off 3 off of each side, right? The pawn is worth 7, okay? So not too difficult once you got this subtraction definition defined, okay? And if we put it all back, we get a check of, let's see, what do we get here? I should get 28 is equal to 28, obviously, okay? All right, I'm going to put that one back, and I'm going to do number 9 on the same page. All right. Actually, this one isn't that hard because this is all addition. So I'm going to go ahead and actually skip to lesson number 17 and problem number 9 on lesson 17. Here we have something, again, that it requires us to subtract some things that we don't have, okay? So first it says x. So there's my x. All right. Then it says subtract 3 x's. I only have 1 I could subtract. So I think actually the way I'm going to think about this is instead of subtract 3x, I'm going to add 3 negative x. Okay? That's how I'm going to treat this minus 3x's. Subtracting, it means add the opposite. Subtract 3x means add 3 negative x. Okay? Then I'm going to put a 6 up here. If I can find it. Oh, yeah, that's because I got the wrong one there. There we go. And then 3 positive x's over here. And I can subtract 2 positive x's because they exist. Okay? Okay. I've got a couple of choices. I mean, what's interesting is I could clear a 0 here. But, I mean, basically I'm looking for a strategy to either get everything on this side or on this side, okay? So I could actually, I see that it might be easy enough to do that. And then all I've got are these negative x's here on the left. And then I need to move this over. And that's kind of going to use that same strategy we did before, which is to add the same thing to both sides. That's always legal. And I'm going to add exactly what I need to 0 that 6 out, right? Now that comes off. Now I know that every negative x is equal to negative 2, right? Because negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, that adds up, okay? So I come up with x is equal to positive 2, and negative x is equal to negative 2. I'm going to go back and check this one. This one was tricky enough you'd want to do that. Okay, so rebuild it. Again, I've got an x minus 3 x's, means add 3 negative x's, add the 6, and then on the other side, I had 3 x's, take away 2 x's, okay? All right, if I add everything up, well, if this is equal to a positive 2, then everything over here should equal positive 2. Now with this, for checking, I am always going to remove a 0. Okay, so as it turns out, each of these is worth negative 2. So negative 4 and positive 6 is positive 2. Positive 2 equals positive 2, right? So 2 equals 2, that's my check. All right, I'm going to do one more. This is going to be on lesson 18. Okay, and again, I'm just kind of picking ones that I can see involve this technique of subtracting things that you don't have. Okay, so this will be number 8 on lesson 18. Okay, so this one says start with 2 negative x's. So I'm going to start there. Then it says subtract 3 x's. I don't have any x's to subtract, so subtract 3 positive x means add 3 negative x. Okay, do the opposite. And then on the other side, it says put 2 negative x's and 18. Okay, well, once it's set up, it's quite easy, right? So that's the only tricky part, is making sure that you're getting that subtracting the opposite down. But now I can just simply subtract those 2 negatives. If this is 18, then 18 divided by 3, each one of these has to be a 6. And be careful, the negative x is positive 6. Therefore, the positive x is negative 6. You write these, I write these down right away. It's so easy to get them messed up if you don't. And now I'm going to do the check. Okay, so I had 18 on this side. Again, it said start with 2 negative x's, subtract 3 positive means add 3 negative. 1, 2, 3. I had 2 on this side, and if each one of these negative x's are worth positive 6, then really what is this? This is actually, this should be 6 times 5, right? This is like 3 of those. So I should get 30 equals 30, and in fact I do. This is 6 times 5, and this is going to be 18 plus 12, which is 30. So my check is 30 equals 30, okay? So see if you can get this idea of subtraction meaning add the opposite down, because that's going to be very helpful when we get to the very last lessons in this section. I'll see you soon.